Hello and welcome. My name is Saleh Al-Minji, CEO of Icon Traders, and welcome to episode 18 of Rate My Trades. So yes, another episode and we're back at it again. This time what we're going to do is we're going to start off this episode with looking at the two lists that we had in the previous episode. So that was, we had our watch list and we had our go time list. Now on our watch list, so watch lists were just trades that we were looking at and waiting for specific signals within the charts in our indicators before we would either buy or sell. Now we had EUR NZD, EUR USD, GBP AUD, CAD CHF, USD CHF, and a new one now, USD CAD. Now since last week, we've actually seen one of these currency pairs swap over from the watch list to the go time list, and that one is actually USD CHF. So that one has nicely moved over to the, what's it called, go time list. And on our go time list we also have USD MXN, GBP NZD, natural gas, and CHF JPY, which is the new trade which has joined our list for today. But without further ado, let's get into these trades, look into them and see exactly why I'm thinking what I'm thinking. Because I know this, I say this, I do this. There we go. So, first trade that we're going to look at today is EUR NZD. Now, what we would normally be doing at this point of the show would be going through the ones that we've already posted. However, as you can see, unfortunately, a full week hasn't passed since the last episode, and for that reason you can see there has been no change. However, nonetheless, because these are week chart graphs, nonetheless though, we move and we will be showing you exactly what is going on. So here we have EUR NZD. So now, as you can see, there hasn't been much progress, which is exactly why it's still on our watch list. If you come into the 4-hour chart, we can see that with EUR NZD, we're almost crossing to the top of the cloud. So it hasn't happened yet, but as soon as it does on the 4-hour chart, then we're going to be a lot more interested in looking at that to buy at that time. But until that does happen and we see that, we're just waiting and being patient. Better safe than. There we go. Okay, next one, EUR USD. So what are we thinking for EUR USD? Now, this one, once again, you can see the squiggly line that I drew in here, and that is showing that I'm thinking of this as a sell, basically waiting for this to sell. Going to the 4-hour chart, what we can see, we just came to the top side of the cloud. However, I don't really believe that we're going to be there for that long. I really do think, it's almost already doing what I'm saying, but if anything, just a rise to this line of resistance, test it and then fall back down to the downside. However, until it does get to below around 1.104 to 1.102, not time to sell just yet. So once again, remains on the watch list. GBP AUD, next currency pair. So what are we thinking with this? Now, once again, so still just remaining on our watch list. We've seen it at the top of this channel here. If we go into the day chart as well, we can see, and the 4-hour chart, we can see that yes, it's at top of the cloud. However, it does seem like it's hit a level of resistance. If we were to get a line and put that in there, you can see that it is testing around there. Moving into the 30-minute chart as well, we can see it a lot more clearly as well, playing around with the cloud. At this point now, just a waiting game, and as soon as we do see a nice cross to the downside of, I would say, below here, because we can also see, if we also put in a line here, you can see that there's another line of support down here. So as soon as we break through that support line, we can continue to look at this as a sell, but until then, on our watch list. CAD CHF, next trade. Okay, so with this one, we were looking at CAD CHF as a potential buy. Now we're still looking at it as a potential buy. With this, the top line of the triangle trend, which you can remember that we've been looking at since March. I made some, what's it called, mistakes in the last episode. It wasn't January, it's actually March. But moving into the 4-hour chart, let's take a closer look. Okay, so with this one, really and truly what we're just waiting for is a nice solid crossover to the top side of the cloud. So we haven't entered this trade yet, it's still in our watch list. Because we're still on the downside of the cloud, we were expecting to cross over there, didn't happen. So at this point, just still waiting for this trade. And as soon as we do see a nice crossover to around 0.752, then we're going to enter. But until then, we twiddle our thumbs and keep our eyes peeled. Next trade on the watch list, we're going to go into USD CHF. Now, USD CHF is no longer on our watch list. It's not. We are currently looking to buy this. This is a very good opportunity to buy this trade right now. As you can see on the 30-minute chart, just crossed to the top side of the cloud, and on the 4-hour chart as well, crossing to the top side of the cloud. Week chart as well, we can see that it's still in the cloud. However, the middle, almost the middle of the regression trend. So what we can expect is to see a nice soar to the top side of this trend of around 1.015, I would say. And yeah, that's the first new go time trade for this episode. Now, there is another trade that we must mention for our watch list, and this one is USD CAD. So, what am I saying with this one? Just like with USD CHF, this one is also, as you can see, is following kind of the same pattern. However, this one is not a go time trade and is just on our watch list for now, because if you come into the 30-minute chart, as you can see, we just saw a real big drop to the downside of the cloud. So with this one, once again, as you can see here, I've put in this line, you can see that line of resistance. So as soon as we see a nice breakthrough to the top side of the cloud and the top side of this line of resistance, then we'll be thinking of this and placing our buy trades. But until that does happen again, just waiting patiently. Now, let's move on to the go time trades, the rest of them. So, with this, let us see. First trade we need to look at is USD MXN. Now, when we come into USD MXN, oh, I'm so sorry, USD MXN is also another watch list. So USD MXN has been moved to our watch list. Why is this? This is because when we come into the 30-minute chart, as you can see, this was a very good trade for us over this past week. However, just recently closed it as it came to the downside of the cloud. So now, at this point, just waiting for the candlesticks here to cross to the top side of the cloud again. We can also see there's quite quite a level of resistance around here and here. So yeah, just patiently waiting to see the crossover to around 19.5. Once we see that, then we will continue to confidently buy this currency pair. So that's on the watch list once again. So our actual go time trades now. So we've got GBP NZD that we must mention. GBP NZD, yes. So on the 30-minute chart and the 4-hour chart, as we can see, back to the downside and continuing on our way down. So with this one, as I said, you've got two potential take profits, which are around 2 on the 2.005 right there, and then also a nice comfortable one of around 1.97 right there. It could potentially go lower, but looking at this as a very strong sell and currently in it and in the money. Now, natural gas into USD. Okay, let's keep it moving. So natural gas, once again with this one, as I said in the last episode, so if we move into the week chart here, we can see that yes, although we're currently in a positive regression trend, we are still on the downside of the cloud on the week chart. Now moving into the day chart as well, what we can see is although we're on the top side of the cloud, we do see in the 4-hour chart that we are on the downside of the cloud. Not just that, but we are to look into our conversion line and baseline of the Ichimoku cloud. You can see that the baseline is on top of the conversion line, which does indicate a sell. So with this one, especially alongside with our positive regression trend, we can see that we're currently on our way down in our positive regression trend. So a nice solid take profit of around 2.35. Currently riding this trade, currently in the money as well. Good times, people are happy. Now let's keep it moving. So USD CHF. So with this one, let us see what is going on. Amazing. So once again with USD CHF, if you can remember how this looked in the last episode, hasn't moved much. However, it's happy days, because if you dive into the 4-hour chart, we can see that on the 4-hour chart we're just breaking through to the top of the cloud. So with this one, we can see that it's, you know, early beginnings, new beginnings on the 30-minute chart as well, just crossing over to the top of the cloud, and we are fairly low in the regression trend, and it's a positive regression trend. On our way to cross over to the top side of the cloud on the week chart as well. So very solid trade to currently be in. If you're not in either GBP NZD, natural gas, USD CHF and CHF JPY, which we're going to get to in a sec, I would strongly advise you place these now. I know this, I say this, I do this. Yes, you're welcome. Okay, so CHF JPY. Now this is the last trade on our current go time list. So listen carefully. So with this one, as you can see, we can see a down negative regression trend on the week chart, which means the general overall movement should be depreciating, as it should be bearish. Now if we dive into the day chart, you can see that we are on top of the cloud. However, 4-hour chart now, and you can see it, there we go. So if you can remember what I said about CHF JPY in the last episode, we were actually thinking that we weren't going to be looking at this currency pair as a point of interest anymore for that period of time. Now since then, so in that episode I inputted in these lines. If you've seen the episode, you'd remember, because I did it there and then live. Now I said that with these lines, what we're going to look for is a breakthrough to either the top or the bottom. Now, if we see a breakthrough to the top, that means we're about to continue and soar upwards. If we see a breakthrough to the bottom, then that means we're going to continue and soar downwards. Now, as you can see here, broke through the bottom support line, bam, bow, bow, tested it. Do you know what time? You know what time it is. Let's just input these parameters all here together nicely as a family, so that we can make this money together. So with our stop loss, what we gotta do, let's dive in and see what's going on here. We can put a nice stop loss of around, we do here to keep us safe, 109.750. Back to the 4-hour chart. Let's drag this out as well, so that we've got space and time. Then week chart as well, let's see what the week chart is saying. So with this down regression trend, we can see the previous price levels that have been tested. So with this one, we can get a real nice solid take profit of around here, or anywhere between there and 1.84. I would say 1.84 is a nice solid one to go off. So with this one, place your trade. You can see we're nicely on the downside on the 4-hour chart. Things are starting to happen. Don't miss out. Now, CHF JPY, that is the last trade that we have on our go time list. So to reiterate, we've got on our watch list, we've got EUR NZD, EUR USD, GBP AUD, CAD CHF, and USD CAD. So for this week, those are the ones that you need to watch. And for right now, the trades that you should place, USD MXN is also on the watch list as well, don't forget that. Then we also have, for the go time trades, GBP NZD, natural gas, USD CHF, and CHF JPY. If you don't have those trades currently open, I strongly advise you do. I know this, I say this, I do this. Why are you still watching this video? Go be great.